Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to At America. Yes, thank you, everyone. For those of you new here, At America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center, the place to learn more about American culture. Hello again, everyone. My name is Aldi, and I'll be your e-guide for today's event, Basketball. It's more than just a game. Yes, I would also like to say hello to our dear friends from Indonesian Deaf Basketball. Thank you for coming, everyone. Yes. And before we begin, I have a question of the day to our online audience. And the question is it true or false that basketball was invented by a physical education teacher? If you think you know the answer, submit it through our online platforms to get a special shout out at the end of the event. And so, Bad America, I would like to introduce our moderator for today. She's a professional TV broadcaster and public speaker who began her career as a journalist with global network CNN, serving as both field producer and news anchor. Her excellence was recognized with the prestigious John Doherty Award from the Australian government, leading to a stint at ABC Australia. She is currently a sportscaster covering top-tier events including the NBA, Premier League, Tour de France, and most recently, the 2024 Paris Olympics. Today, she is the leading female voice of the Indonesian Basketball League. Sobat America, please welcome Kak Muthia Wirosastro.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much, Aldi and Ad America, for the warm welcome. And as ever, amazing introduction. My name is Muthia, everyone. Thank you so much, Indonesian Deaf Basketball, for coming here. Thank you. Terima kasih, teman-teman yang sudah tune in juga online. And allow me to moderate the session in both English and Bahasa Indonesia for our wider audience. All right, without further ado, this is the topic of basketball, more than just a game. This is in the spirit of International Day of Sports as development and peace. So this is very good learning curve for us, apalagi untuk yang datang online maupun offline ya. Okay, without further ado, our first guest is a game changer, literally and figuratively, in Indonesian basketball. He's a former American football athlete from Tiffin University. He then made a brave transition into basketball coaching and sharpening his skill in Singleton College Preparatory in California, one of the top high school programs in the US. But his career truly skyrocketed when he bring the Saigon Heat to the VBA Championship in 2019. And then fast forward, he then made a choice to bring Indonesian basketball to the next level. Since coming in Indonesia, he's rewritten the coaching playbook. He is a 4-time IBL Coach of the Year, a streak that is unmatched still to this day, and just recently just got the fan votes again as the head coach for IBL All-Star Game. So definitely the fan favorites and everyone's favorite in here, as well known for his discipline, energy, and how to turn teams into champions. Let's give a big warm welcome for Coach David Singleton.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very happy to be here with the Indonesian Deaf Basketball. I appreciate you guys for having us. This is really an honor for me to be here in front of you guys tonight, and I'm looking forward to talking with you and answering any questions and trying to help you in any way I can, and hopefully also learn from you guys. So very excited to be here.
All right, thank you so much, Coach. All the way from Bandung.
Yes.
You made it in time?
Yes, I did.
All right, and then our second guest, definitely last but not least, our next guest is a rising star in Indonesian basketball, a young woman who's definitely making waves on and off the court. In just college age, she has racked up an impressive list of accolades. She was named a Kopi Good Day DBL Indonesia All-Star in 2024. She also earned the title of PON ke-12 gold medalist for DKI Jakarta team, and just last year represented Indonesia at the prestigious All-Star DBL camp in Chicago, US, proving she's not just dominating locally, but she's also ready to take the bigger stage, the global stage even. And without further ado, let's give a big warm welcome for Keira, Ammabel.
Thank you. Thank you so
All
much.
right, all right.
Thank you, everyone.
Checking in, Keira, is the mic good?
I'm good today.
It's Keira's first time. I'm going to teach a little bit of basketball as well with Coach Dave later on this session. Alright guys, without further ado, Muthia juga mau memberitahukan untuk teman-teman online di beberapa kanal online atau kanal sosial dari @Amerika yang mau memberikan pertanyaan juga bisa ya, biar dari Twitter, Facebook, Instagram Live, or YouTube Live. Nanti pertanyaannya juga akan dicatat dan nanti akan ada Q&A session untuk teman-teman offline maupun online. Alright, let's start big, teman-teman. Tadi Muthia juga sudah bilang, we talk about the theme of today's session, which is sports for development and peace. And this year's theme internationally is sports for social inclusion. So we talk a little bit about how sports, primarily basketball, shape the minds of the youngins and young players, whether it is for professional career or it is for fun, ya teman-teman. All right. So perhaps for Dave, for Coach Dave and Keira, how big is the culture and influence of basketball, be it from the US or here in Indonesia, shaping the world of the youths? You as a coach and Keira as a player. Anyone who starts first?
Yeah, I'll start. I think it's extremely important. I started playing sports when I was 5 years old, and I learned about being on a team at 5 years old. Learned the hardships of being on a team and what it is to be a teammate, which is giving. Being there for one another, having each other's back, learning camaraderie, togetherness, being able to work with someone, albeit that young of an age, and basically from 5 until now, I've been a part of a team my entire life. So it's something that you always look at whenever you go out into the real world. I guess I don't really call basketball the real world, but when you go out to work a real job, a lot of people look for athletes. They want to hire people that have been within a team, within a setting, competitive setting, and they like those people much more than maybe somebody that hasn't, because you've experienced what it is to work with someone, to go through ups, to go through downs, to try to figure out solutions, and really help each other. And so that's what I really get from being a part of a team. I think it's extremely important. I think sports is vital in today's world, and it always has been, to bring chemistry between people and really bring different cultures together, people from all over walks of life. I've been blessed to meet people from so many different countries doing the work that I do, learning so many different things about different cultures and people and how they are, and it's been a beautiful experience for me to grow myself, coming from a town in California where it's some people get out, some people don't, and some people will never see the world. And that helps me see a whole different view of what this really is about. And it's about helping people, working together, and trying to figure out how to do it and come together. I think that's especially what this world needs at this moment, is more people coming together and working together, and trying to really appreciate one another. So for me, sports has been vital in my life. It's taught me everything. I don't think I would be the coach today if I wasn't on teams that I was on. Some of the teams that I've been upon, which was good or bad, it's taught me so many life lessons that I take in the world and use in so many settings that have nothing to do with sports. But those sports and those teams taught me those lessons for other things in life. So it's critical, it's vital, and I'm very blessed to be able to be a part of that. Yes.
Okay, Coach, that's a very great perspective. How about you, Keira, as a student athlete, your whole life? How is basketball or sports primarily impacted and influenced your life in general?
It's also a big part of my life too, as a student athlete, right? So basically, in my opinion too, it does shape character, it does shape your teamwork, the way you play, the way you interact with one another. And I think from the US, it's a big country. It has a really large sport community, and for us as Indonesian players, it's also one of my inspirations too, watching them and having to know their culture, especially from DBL, giving me a chance to be able to go to America Chicago to actually learn more about basketball and how their culture works, how they practice, and how everything works. So it's also amazing how I can create those relations and more, again, culture, their culture and our culture together. So I think it's really good impact.
It's fresh to hear from you, especially because you see it for yourself, especially on the modern era of basketball as a student athletes. Sekarang kalau kita boleh bicara sedikit tentang pengalaman pribadinya Keira juga, tadi kan impactnya tentang terhadap diri Keira sebagai student athlete, tetapi personally for yourself, how does basketball or sports in general shaping your personality? How does basketball really teach you pentingnya perseverance, kerja keras dan juga disiplin? What do you think about that, Keira?
So there's actually a funny story. When I was like around 7 years old, I used to be so frustrated with my friends, having to let's just say like they made a mistake and I just couldn't handle my emotions, and I was like, oh, we lost because of this. I started blaming everybody on the team, and I just didn't actually look at myself. So what sport or basketball really taught me is it doesn't matter how hard you fall, it doesn't matter how you lose. It's how you react, it's how you get back up, it's how you be disciplined to yourself, to really work hard and not care about how other people are doing. You just need to focus on yourself first, and then you can react and really show other people. So I think it's also teaching from attitude, from emotion, controlling your emotions. I think it's also part of it too.
Yeah, I think it's very important, especially because on court, I think Coach Dave knows this better than I do, but obviously game of basketball is a game of how you react to your opponents, right? And sometimes it definitely affects how your outlook in life or in general off the court. But thank you so much for sharing that, Keira. Right, Coach Dave, from your perspective, how is regular participation in basketball actually affects mental health and physical health for youth, our probably young athletes in this generation?
Yeah, I think that's extremely important. I think being able to be active, first of all, in a sport, which obviously number one creates exercise for the body, keeps your blood flowing, it keeps your body moving. You burn fat, you gain and build muscle, and that helps you to live a longer life. I think any study you can read out of there shows the more you're active, the more you're moving, the more you're constantly going, you provide more energy sources to your body, and you allow yourself to live longer and be a healthier person. And anybody that knows, you guys know, I mean, you can't do anything in this world. You want to be a millionaire, you want to own businesses, but you can't do anything unless you're healthy, right? Everything stops unless you're healthy. So that's the first thing you do, and basketball allows you to stay active, stay healthy, and keep yourself in shape. So it's very important. It's something that I've tried to do, I mean, as I get older now, but to keep myself in shape as much as possible. And I'm just so blessed to be a part of something where you can get out there and get in shape. And the best thing about basketball is there's courts everywhere all over the world. There's places you can go out there and play. I was a guy that really hated to run like a track or go long distances. So my workouts, my cardio was just go play basketball. Go play hour, 2 hours of basketball, and that would always keep me in shape and give me a good sweat. As far as the mental side, I think it's you've heard it before, and I think it's very, very, very it hit home for a lot of our players and people like me, is that it was always a place you can find your peace. You know, you always get happy there. I think so much chaos goes on in the world. There's a lot of things that we can't control, like Keira was talking about, and things maybe you can't solve in that day, and it's on your brain. But then when you get down at court and you get out there and you get active, you get moving, sometimes your mind can clear, and it can kind of be your happy place where you can enjoy yourself for 1 to 2 hours or however long you're there, and it can give you a little bit of freedom from maybe the real world or what's really going on. So I believe that basketball for us is a job. But really it's not, it's a game. That's why it's called a game. And you have to enjoy it. You have to love it. You have to go out there and give everything you have and understand it's a blessing to go out there and play basketball. And I think when you find the best players in the world, the people that you follow, the people that you love, maybe even a Keira as well, one of the best players. You would usually find those players that play with a lot of joy and a lot of fun in the game, and so I think that helps your mental state as well. And I always encourage people to go out there and play basketball. Yeah.
I think that resonates well to larger audience in here as well as watching it online and offline. That's like the general use and the general effect for mental health and physical health in general for the game of basketball. But let's talk about going pro or turning it into a career, because oftentimes you have the love for the game.
Yes.
You have put in the work, but you don't know where to start to put it into or turning it into a career. So perhaps from two different perspectives, as a coach and as a player, what are the key starts or key aspects for aspiring young players to start turning it into a career, maybe coach?
Yeah, I think through my experience, I think the biggest thing is obviously, what would be somewhat of a cliche, is the hard work, the dedication. She talked about the commitment and the discipline, and I think that's a key word that she spoke on, which was the discipline. You have to have it in anything that you want. I think there's been so many kids growing up with me who are 20 times better than me, and amazing athletes, but could never get out of their own way. Whether that they got distracted in school or they got distracted outside of school, and it really derailed their opportunities to go potentially be a professional basketball player and go far in their life in sport, because they weren't focused and they weren't disciplined. And that is very hard. It's just a word that we're using, but there's a lot that goes into that on a daily basis, finding routines, finding things that you enjoy, doing things that you don't like doing. Waking up early when you're sleepy and getting out of bed and going for a run, or going early to practice at 6 a.m. and staying late at night to do extra work. You always find those stories of people that do those things are normally successful, and all the people that we love and we watch, the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants, the Kyrie Irvings, whoever you want to talk about, they all talk about that. They all speak about those days that they went through to get where they are. So I think that's always going to be a part of it, combined with you continually to remember your passion for the game and your consistency. You'll have down days. You'll have good days. One thing I always talk to my players about is self-talk. Sometimes you won't have a crowd of people to motivate you and cheer for you and tell you, let's go, come on, you can do it. Sometimes it's just you. And you got to have that ability to not think that it's crazy to talk to yourself sometimes and inspire yourself and motivate yourself and let yourself know you can do it. And some of those are the best days when you can get through that day when it was difficult or tough, but that'll shape you for later. So the discipline, the commitment, the passion, the desire, and then the joy, I think, creates somebody who can be a professional basketball player.
Yeah. Kind of agree. Consistency, definitely something that kind of differs you from being normal and being extraordinary, because that's one of the hardest things to do, to be consistent. Keira, what about you? Can you tell us, perhaps sharing a story a little bit, or your journey, where to start? Are you doing basketball since what age, and what kind of academy? As a young players, do we need to get into like a club, community, or high school is enough, or what do you think?
I actually started playing basketball at around 12 years old, because at the time my dad told me that I used to play soccer when I was 7, so I really wanted to continue that career, but my dad told me there's no soccer team in Jakarta, so I think you should change it. And then so at 12 years old, and then my coach, I was in an academy. It was called TBA. It was Tamtela Hitu basketball.
Coach Oki.
Yeah, Coach Oki. And then he was like, I think she has talent. I think you should
Mm-hmm.
put her in somewhere that she can really grow and be more serious about this. And so I went to a club, an Indonesia Muda. My first coach in that club was Julissa, Kalisa.
Yeah.
I think it was Prastawa's mom.
Yes.
So when I got her, I was a bit culture shocked. I didn't know. I was like, I don't think this is it, because
She's tough.
I'm still,
Wow.
I'm still thinking I just want to do this for fun. I didn't want to, but I was also grateful that I was surrounded by a good good people, good coaches, especially my parents were very supportive of me on continuing my basketball career, and so I got motivated so quickly. I was like, my friends could shoot with one hand, and I was like, I was struggling with one hand. I was shooting with two hands, so I practiced with my dad. I always like I want to be able to do layups. I want to be able to shoot with one hand like my friends can. So I started practicing, and I think as players have been through tough times sometimes when they go, you know what, like I'm so tired of this.
I just don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to go to practice.
I can't do this. So they lose motivation, and if you really love for the game, if you have love for the game, I think it's like you always see yourself coming back to the court. No matter how hard you say you're struggling, you're really down about it, but you somehow wake up the next day and you're like, you're picking your bag up and you're also going to the court. So I think that's also one of the key things to be disciplined to and to be a great player is having motivation from yourself. Like, where do you really want to go? If you really know where you're going to go, that's when you start to actually pick up of yourself. You start to feel like, I know you have to figure out what you really need to do. That's when the discipline comes in. And then you start communicating with everybody else around you. You start telling people, as you start telling your family, your friends that you really want to do this, and really try to be surrounded by people that can support you and not slow you down. So I think that's one of the things that players struggle with, to be surrounded by something that can motivate them and make them really disciplined about themselves.
I'm curious, though, did you ever actually ask for help or ask for guidance? I know coaching on and off the court, of course, you ask for guidance from your coaches. But in terms of channels as to where to look, if I want to take this to pro career, getting scholarships, for example, for your collegiate basketball, can you tell us a little bit on where to look, who to ask? I don't know, maybe anyone who's watching probably in high school right now, or maybe in college right now, who to ask or who to contact nearest to them?
At around junior high school, I'm really grateful that I was introduced to DBL.
Okay.
So DBL is something that it's a worldwide thing. It's in Indonesia too.
Yeah.
It's for high school players to really get into the game and really start being serious with their schools and really try to perform. And I think when I was in junior high, I was also grateful that my dad figured out that there was something as called DBL. So I started to find high schools that really supported DBL, and it just made me so excited hearing that you get to play with other high schools and you guys compete to actually be the champion. I was like, wow, that's really interesting. I really want to try that. And so DBL, I think, is one of the ones that also help us players to really shine, I guess. Shine.
And get into good schools. I think it helps as well. Good schools with good high school programs definitely help, especially if you caught your talents, or parents, if you caught your kids' talent early on. I think it's very important to get your kids into good schools that has a good basketball programs. Coach, in your perspective, especially with your international background, how do you think the Indonesian players or maybe potential players compare to American ones in terms of mindset, work ethics, and how do they develop their careers early on?
I think, that's always going to be, I think, a topic of discussion about where do you rate them compared to this or that. And I think, obviously there's still a long way to go, to be quite honest, because we've been playing the game and the sport for such a long time, as you guys know, back in the 40s and 50s, so kind of had a head start. But I will say, since the time that I've been here until now, it definitely has taken an uptick in the interest and how many people really love the game. I'm seeing kids, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, screaming and yelling about basketball, can't wait, wearing jerseys, excited to go to an IBL game or even watch an NBA game, or like she talked about, wearing their DBL jerseys and things like that. So the interest is obviously, in my opinion, the most important thing is to get more kids and more people excited about the sport so that they can start earlier like we did. You know, she talked about starting at 12. You know, I started at 5, and other people started at 5 and things like this. And not that I was good at 5, but by 10, I was kind of good, you know, and that was kind of jumped me ahead of certain kids at my age, and then as I kept going, obviously. So I think it's extremely important to continue to touch all areas of Indonesia. I think there's also a lot of untapped areas with talent. Obviously, there's genetic part of it where the height and the size comes into play when you go higher and higher up. But at the end of the day, my team is one of the perfect examples of someone like extremely small.
Yeah, Yuda.
Yuda Saputra. He's usually the smallest person on the court every single game, usually.
Usually, yeah.
And especially when they play internationally against Australia and these big, tall teams, and he goes and scores 20 points against them. It shows you that sometimes it really doesn't even matter. He's one of the most dedicated people that I've ever met. He works the hardest. He's so interested in this game to be as good as he wants to be. And he proves it every single day with his work ethic. He's the hardest worker player on our team. And you see how much it matters to him. So I think just continuing with the interest, continuing to create things like the DBL around Indonesia, academies, kids playing basketball as much as they possibly can, making sure that obviously the coaching is there to teach. Like she said, she had a good coach. She had good people who were teaching her the correct things. And when you find that and you can find those type of programs, it'll really speed your process up and how good you can actually be. So, all of you guys can do this and play this game. How good you want to be is usually going to be up to you, and how much time and effort that you put into it. And I always talk about whatever you give, you'll normally get it back in anything in life. If you're a good person every day, all the time, normally some people will start to bring that back to you. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here, and we just got to keep pushing that basketball forward in this country.
Yeah. I see you're heavily involved as well in like coaching clinics for youth players, for young players who's willing to participate in the greater game of basketball. You have experiences. Probably the closest vicinity would be like Vietnam, or you've already have experience in New Zealand as well.
Yes.
What are some of the things, like practical things, be it coaching clinics or maybe giving out scholarship, that we can probably mimic here in Indonesia? What do you think?
Yeah, I think creating, before those coaching clinics and things like that, I think creating a basketball system here. We have, not that it's the best system, but we have something called the AAU, and it's massive, and it brings everybody in America together and playing against each other and competing and seeing who's the best. And a lot of these different programs, as well as the high school programs. There's high school competitions. There's national high school competitions. There's so many different competitions where kids at younger ages get involved in basketball early, in very competitive basketball. I think sometimes here you might see kids that are extremely good in Surabaya, but they've never played a kid from Jakarta, and you'll never know how good they actually are. And what the states do is they're able to bring those people together and kind of see where everybody is. So I think just creating a basketball system and a setup and a structure, it will really help speed the process up in this country, because I do believe that it's a little bit separated at this moment. And I think if there's a more connected basketball system, I believe that it could help move it quicker.
Keira also told me a little bit about it's the first time we do a tournament Liga Putri, like female tournament for non-pros and pro athletes as well. But I think it's such a good start and such a good example as well to do that sporadically and to reach grassroots, I would say, for aspiring players. Keira, ada yang bisa di-share nggak sih ya tentang pengalaman di DBL sendiri karena Keira sekarang berada di ekosistem itu di DBL. What do you think DBL Indonesia shaped you holistically on and off the courts, be it for yourself or for players that you see as opponents, as friends? How does DBL Indonesia shaped your way of thinking?
I love how DBL has this thing where your school has to bring like your audience, like people to watch.
Okay.
You really
I heard of
Yeah,
that. I think you
so-
have to have like minimum of like participants or
Yeah,
supporters to
yeah,
go into
supporters.
courts, to go
Wow.
to watch the games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's actually a really good stage for anyone as a player to really start playing with a crowd. Because some people are able to play without a crowd and they're
Yeah.
so good. And then once there's a crowd and you got people cheering and left and right,
pressure,
and they're like
yeah.
feeling pressure and they can't do anything. So I think that's a really great experience for as a high schooler for
Absolutely.
making that possible from DBL,
Absolutely.
and I'm really grateful for. And they have these camps that actually are from across Java, East Java, West Java, and they bring them together and then they choose 12 people, right? And they make it a DBL All-Star.
Yes.
So
True.
that's also making an opportunity to learn abroad. And I think that's a really good stage and experience
Yeah.
as a high,
Yes.
especially as a high schooler.
High schooler,
you get
yeah.
to experience it as around like 15 to 17 years old.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
it's a
Very
really
cool.
early start.
Yeah, yeah. Follow up on that, your camp in Chicago. What did you learn in terms of how you, as our talent, Indonesian talents, fare to or compared to the American talents or system when you started study there?
It was a bit of a culture shock because the way they played over there, their accuracy is amazing. Even if their
Okay.
individual skill wasn't like
Would you agree,
they
Coach?
couldn't-
You're kind of thinking a little bit. Is it?
Well-
no.
Not gonna lie, I was like, there was like middle schoolers that couldn't even like between their leg, but when they were given space, they shot the ball and it just went in, and I was like, wow, it was simple as that. Like the way to win is to make the ball go into the net, right?
Yeah.
So that's what they did, and I think something that we can learn as for the Indonesian basketball community is like you don't need to be that amazing about with dribbles and you gotta do
Okay.
like jelly layups and everything.
Yeah,
Just work on
flashy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you just work on your accuracy. It's like
Yeah. Fundamental
you
basketball.
need to win. You need to put the ball in the net to win. You don't need those styles. You don't need those types of layups to be able to win. You make points out of the ball going into the net. So I think that's something
Yeah.
we can learn about.
Okay, would you agree, Coach?
Very true. Keep it simple, right? Keep it simple. There doesn't need to be all the fluff. You just got to put the ball in the basket. That's the name of the game.
Okay, all right. So I'm sure the both of you has been inspired by basketball heroes, be it here in Indonesia or maybe American basketball. Can you share us a little bit about like legends that has shaped your career, your style of play, and in what way that their stories resonates to you and inspire you to pursue your career right now, respectively as players and as coach? Perhaps anyone who start. Keira, perhaps?
All right,
Who's your
for-
basketball legends?
I kind of changed a little bit because
Yeah, that's
of my
alright.
size and everything. So I didn't really look up to NBA players so much because I knew they were so humongous.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of had a really, really inspiring idol from Japan.
Okay.
And her name is Rima Chida. She's not that tall. She's around my height, but like a little taller.
Okay.
But when I saw her play in, I think it was the Asian Games.
Okay.
Wait, what? I forgot. But like I watched her play once, and long story short, it was like wow, she could really survive in a court full of literally people that are twice her size.
Okay.
She was able to make these amazing passes. Her court vision was amazing. So I really inspired to be like her.
Yeah, and I think it can resonate with the audience here because who knows? And I think it can resonate because probably your idol will be Keira, and that's
Hey,
just
there you
that's
go.
valid. You don't have to have like huge, humongous basketball heroes to grow and prosper in Indonesian basketball or even going abroad because Keira can do it. If Keira can do it, Anyone can.
Yes.
All right, Dave, what about you?
Mine goes way back. Some of you guys might not know because of your age, so I don't
I'll
blame you.
expose your age,
If you're
but
looking
okay.
at me, you're like, who are you talking about? But when I was young, growing up in the 90s, that's a long time ago, Damon Stoudemire, he was a professional basketball player for a while. His most famous, he got Rookie of the Year in 1995 with the Toronto Raptors. They were the first year that they were created, and then continued to play his career with many huge playoff games with the Portland Trail Blazers, and had a tremendous career. He was 5'9", all right, so kind of similar to my size, as well as left-handed, which I am as well. And I just always saw him on TV, and they called him Mighty Mouse. And he was just this little small guy scoring 25, 26 points in the NBA. And I was like, oh my gosh, that looks like me. And it was just so cool to see. And so I always watched him, and he inspired me to be who I was and play the way I played. And I try to mimic my game after him. He now is a head coach in Division I NCAA Georgia Tech University in Atlanta. He's the head coach there, and so he's transitioned from playing basketball to coaching. So he's a guy that I always looked up to, and somebody that inspired me, the fire, the passion that he played with. Like she said, being his size with people, a foot, even almost 2 feet taller than him, with no fear, with no care, and just believing in himself. So that was my idol. That was who it was, yes.
And I think it's a good start to actually have players or like one particular player to look up to. Even if you're not a fan of the game, watching an idol, I would say someone you idolize, kind of help you to, motivates you to have your own style of play, something you resonate with, maybe players or maybe their heights or maybe their style of play. For me personally, I started watching NBA because of Steve Nash, and that's also because of my height, because I usually play basketball with someone twice my size, for example, but Steve Nash, one of the most shifty, and I would say he's undersized, but one of the best point guards, I would say, in the history of NBA. So yeah, find your idols. Sometimes it could help you to be motivated as ever. Right, that's about idols. But if we talk about one-on-one, if you can pick NBA, WNBA legends, or even IBL, or even Indonesian basketball legends, who you got, and why do you choose this person as your opponent, and who you take on a one-on-one game? Who will win?
Oh my God.
Let's go.
You can
What
go
about
first.
you, Kay?
Oh my gosh. One-on-one?
Yeah.
I don't. That's
Now,
pretty hard.
is this we're going against them, or we're picking a person that we think?
You guys are going against them.
Geez.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a tough question.
I mean, I'll pick one of the very best right now. I think
Okay.
it's Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
But on
let's
a
go.
one-on-one, I'll just play against her for the experience.
Yeah,
There you
for the
go.
experience.
I'm not
for the fun
gonna.
of
I'm
it.
not gonna expect that I win. I'm just gonna. Oh my gosh, I'm guarding Caitlin
Yeah.
Clark.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, do that.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark. Okay. In a game of one-on-one, you're just gonna do it.
Experience.
Okay.
She can win.
Coming from experience.
That'll
okay.
be tough. That'll be tough.
For the experience. Okay, Coach Dave, who you got?
I got to go with probably the guy who changed the game of basketball, Steph Curry.
Okay.
I think everybody, pretty much loves him. Some people don't, but overall, I think nobody can doubt the way he's changed the game of basketball, just from a spacing standpoint, a shooting standpoint. He also plays basketball in my hometown.
Oakland.
So yeah,
Oakland Orange.
that whole area, he's beloved there, and I think he would absolutely destroy me.
Come
but,
on.
Side note, you guys will never know this, but when I was 10 years old, me and him played against each other in Orlando, Florida, and my team beat him.
Okay.
Oh,
This
wow.
is when he was no good, though. He was still, like we talked about, he was still learning how to play. He was decent, but we had a really strong, tall, young 10-year-old team in California, and we beat the heck out of Steph Curry's team. And then that's my highlight of my life, I guess. So it'll never happen again, and he'll never know who I am. So there you go.
I was just gonna say I would brag it every day that I beat Stephen Curry.
At 10 years old, though. Don't
10 years
forget
old.
that. Yes, yes.
we can say that out
Yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
for a player. Okay, cool. Right. So before we move on into question and answer, everyone di online dan offline, kalau ada yang mau bertanya, jangan lupa langsung post komen kalian di semua kanal yang sedang kalian tonton saat ini, ataupun offline juga ada yang mau bertanya. Let's close this out with some kind of closing statement from the both of you. What kind of advice would you give for Indonesian players or aspiring players if they want to use basketball not just for the game or of career, or what do they do to use it as a path for personal growth and personality? What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, I think any of you out there that are inspired to play basketball or using it as a vehicle for yourself to go forward in your life, I think it's a smart thing to do. As I mentioned earlier to you all, I think this is something that shapes you. You're going to find so many times in basketball where you're ready to quit or give up, or you're exhausted, or you're tired, or you don't want to run that line that your coach told you to run. But it builds you. It creates you a lot of mental toughness and the ability to get through things that are maybe in the real world where you're like, oh, that's easy. I already did that in basketball. I already went through that. So it allows you to get through some of these obstacles and the tough times, which we see much more than the good times usually, and how we navigate and get through those and grow through it, those experiences. So I think that's what basketball can do for you and will do for you and has done for me, and I believe Keira as well. And so I just think it's a really, really good thing to be a part of, and you will see as your life continues to go on, you will be able to take stories, situations, and moments from your basketball and be able to translate that into whatever you're doing in your life.
All right, thank you, Coach. Tepuk tangan dong untuk Coach Dave. Keira, your advice and your message for
Coach
this
Bree
aspiring
said
players.
everything. It does actually reflect in real life problems. Basketball also teaches you problem solving skills.
Yes.
How to communicate as a team and not really be egoistic about yourself.
Yes.
So I think
Yes.
it's a really good community to be around. It's really good to explore. It's really good to really have good relations with people.
Yes.
Too.
Okay.
So,
All right, cool. Thank you so much. Tepuk tangan untuk Keira. Thanks, Keira and Coach Dave. We're gonna open the question and answer section. Pertama-tama dari yang offline dulu. Ya, silakan. Yang pertama di sini. Mungkin nama dan asal dari mana. Dan pertanyaan untuk siapa, silakan.
Hello, my name is Kansa and I'm from Jakarta. I have one question for Coach Dave and one question for Keira. For Coach Dave, since you have so many experience in coaching basketball in several countries,
Yes.
Between sports analytics versus sports engineering, which one is more urgent for Indonesian basketball? That's for Coach Dave.
Okay.
And for Keira, since currently we have Women Basketball League, although it's still in Jakarta.
Yep.
But based on your experience and your observation, what aspects that the women athletes still need, or more, is there something that we need to improve in order so the woman athlete can have more opportunities, or for example, have strength and conditioning skills, or what? What's that? What's your opinion on that? That's
Thank
all.
you. Thank you, Kansa.
Thank you.
Coach.
Really good question.
Yeah.
I think it's something that we didn't talk about tonight, in my opinion. In any place or any country that I've been in around the world that is much higher, I guess, more advanced in basketball, it is the infrastructure of basketball that is ahead as well. So not just the athlete or the player, oh, I started at 5 and da-da-da. It's actually that they have, a bunch of courts everywhere. They have really good systems set up. They have beautiful arenas with AC, air conditioning. These things matter. We play in a professional gym now in Bandung where there's no AC, it's hot, there's air getting in, there's bugs flying around, obviously, but, we still make it work. We went to Mongolia this past last year for the BCL.
Yeah.
And it was air conditioning, a beautiful gym. The balls were really different. It was a higher level FIBA ball. and we led the entire competition in three-point shooting. We went 3-1. We lost the game by 1 point, our only loss, and we advanced to the next stage. And I thought we played our best basketball, and I felt like the conditions were correct. I felt like the conditions were there. You know, to nobody's fault. You know, a lot of kids here grow up in some, let's just say, tougher conditions, not just at home but on courts. You know, where they have to play the game, and there's rocks on the ground, and the ball's messed up, and the ball's all, you know, it's got lumps in it.
Yeah.
And yes, you have to work your way through that. But if we were to create an environment where that's rare, that you see something like that, and uncommon, and what is common is a nice gym, a nice court, a nice ball, nice situation and setup, I think you will see the productivity as well as the skills develop quicker, because that's what you see, especially in America. You won't get those type of things as much. So to that point, I think it's actually as important, or maybe more, to be quite honest. So I think that's a great question. Yeah.
Thank you, Coach. Kay?
As for the Women's Basketball League, so far, because we just started, so far it's good. What I think it could really kayak bisa dikembangin lagi tuh mungkin dari sisi make it satu Indonesia.
Okay.
Because right now it's from
the
only
outreach,
Jakarta,
yeah, the
only
community
Jakarta.
outreach.
So there's a lot of more great players
Very
outside,
Jakarta-centric.
and especially seniors, people way older than me, especially like right now. There's some women athletes that were actually one of the best in Jakarta, and I had no clue, because that's how bad the women's league is.
Yeah.
You just start to lose everybody. The more you get older, the more they disappear. So I think it's a good start to really make us, people around probably my age or younger, to really focus on basketball, and they can have something to look forward to.
The community outreach, so
Yes.
it's not just Jakarta, but
Yes.
definitely a challenge to reach greater area, especially other islands.
Yes.
I think logistics part of the challenge as well. She did mention something about strength and conditioning. Can you tell us perhaps any way to improve? Say, for example, for other line of sports, we do have pelatnas and all that, so pelatihan nasional, like a national coaching for all that. For other line of sports, do you think it kind of resonates with basketball? Do we have that already, or something to improve on that part?
I think because Women's Basketball League is also from clubs,
Okay.
so I think it could be reflected to like each of the clubs. But for like Platnas and stuff like that, I think it's growing really well with the coaches and everything. They're actually making it possible for women to be able to really grow as an athlete in Indonesia. So I think it's so far so good.
Alright, thank you. Kansa menjawab. Terima kasih. Sebelum kita ambil pertanyaan dari offline lagi, ini sudah ada beberapa pertanyaan yang masuk lewat online. So we got a couple of questions from Instagram already, Instagram Live. We got one from Mustika. The question is, do you think basketball can be a real job or future for young Indonesians, especially? Keira or Coach? Keira, perhaps. Yeah.
I think it can, because there's like Platnas, and there's like a national team for Indonesia. I think that's also an opportunity for young people like me to actually look forward to and really strive in basketball.
Yeah, and maybe for viewers that are not familiar, I think same as other countries, we do have scholarships as well for student athletes, right? Can you tell us just a little bit about it, Keira? Where you are now, and are you got funded by the university and such?
So if you guys are not even looking for like Timnas or Platnas to be in the national team, it can actually help you in education.
Yeah.
So it could help you get into schools. It can help you get into jobs maybe with the connections you make. So I think it's a really good way to path your way for the future if you don't want to be a serious athlete.
Okay. Hopefully it helps for Mustika and for others who's watching. And then we move on to next question from Arya in Instagram. What advice would you give to someone who's just starting basketball and feels nervous or shy? Coach, what do you think, Coach? First things first. How do you start?
I think good question. I think that's natural. I think anything you're starting with, like, let's just say I'm trying to learn how to speak Bahasa. I'm shy. I'm shy to speak Bahasa at my age. So, although there's no excuse for that, but the point is, okay, it's normal. And anything you're trying that's the first start, you should feel a little bit weird, awkward, confused, embarrassed. And it's okay to be embarrassed. It's okay to fall on your face and get back up and try to figure it out again. But that's what it's about. That's what it's about. And then all of a sudden, something will click and you'll be like, oh, I kind of like this. This is kind of fun. And that's also helped and shaped and created by the coaches and the people that are obviously showing you the game as well.
Yeah.
That's their job to also, show it to you in the right way, not in a difficult, tough, rough way, especially the early on. You want to make sure that it's a lot of fun, a lot of joy, so that that person, girl or boy, can enjoy it and then really catch on and take it from there.
Do you think there's an age where you can start playing basketball? This is for probably parents or maybe kids to start playing basketball. Do you think there is an ideal age for you to start, or you can just start whenever? What do you think?
Not really. I mean, I don't think obviously not 2 or 3, but I think I've seen it. But I think 5 around there, 6. I mean, I don't see why not. I've seen kids do it. I know, I knew a 7-year-old that was playing with 14-year-olds and competing well because he started at 5 or 4, and I mean I've seen some crazy stories. So I think depending, obviously at 5 you really don't know what you truly want. I mean, you're so young.
Yeah.
Your parent would probably be guiding you in that moment and those times,
Yeah.
and maybe they want that for you. And then you'll figure out if you want to keep doing it as you get older. But as you get into your, as you grow older and older, you will know if this is something that you want to do or not. But I think specifically for the parents, I don't see why it wouldn't be 5 years old if you want your child to be a part of that, and not just about basketball, but to be around other kids and community and connect and learn a lot of lessons. I think it's a good age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of basketball academy that starts young, right?
Yes.
And it's easier to access with the modern era with internet and all that. I think it's easier to access for the parents. Right. One more question before we move on to perhaps offline question. From Farhan here from Instagram. What's one important life lesson you've learned from playing basketball? I think we've touched around this area, but let's reiterate it again. Keira, go ahead.
Meeting different people, especially through characteristics and the way they handle things, because you cannot just make people think the way you think.
Okay.
They of course think the way whatever they think. So I think it helped me to understand how to really react to what they are saying or what they're doing without being mean or being frustrated at them. So it's a really good way to handle my emotions, my reaction, and it's a really good way to help me outside of basketball. So when I meet new people, I already know how to react. That's one of the things.
And for young players who was watching, just a quick follow-up, Keira, is there any words of motivation you can tell them? Because I think visually we know Indonesian is in general, in terms of size and height, we're not, we don't really have much of an advantage, right? So, but you prosper, you grow, and you have a career on and off the court. Can you tell us how possible it is to grow from basketball despite any tribulations, really, maybe it's size, height, or opportunities, maybe in Indonesia?
Of course, like right now, there's a lot of athletes that we can really look up to, because size doesn't matter, especially from Prawira. There's Yuda, there's Prastawa from Bija, and I think those are really good examples of how it doesn't matter how big you are, it doesn't matter how strong you are. It's just how the way you think about how to keep this motivation going, how to keep this discipline going, and how you really work hard to be where you are, rather than physically looking at how people are better than you, but you're not looking at yourself like what you're capable of.
Yeah. Especially with the community here in Indonesian Deaf basketball. I think, Coach, you told me a little bit about how you played with them. Some of them are really good, even though they have, their own needs,
Yes,
right? So I
yes.
think if that's not inspiration, I don't know what is. What do you think, Coach? Important life lesson.
Yeah, I think she's spot on about what she's saying. I think the biggest thing is just understanding that it's an old saying. It's like anything is possible. I mean, I've seen people in my life that I saw them at this point, and I said, okay, they're not going to do anything with themselves, and then they get to this point, and then they're extremely, extremely impressive in their life, just based upon the work and the time that they've put in on their craft. And I think anybody here can be good at anything, no matter if you want to be a public speaker, you want to be a basketball player, you want to be somebody behind the camera. As long as you're putting time into it consistently over and over, like she talked about with discipline, you always are going to get better at that, no matter what. And so I just believe that, like she said, when you talk about height, size, and all those things that you cannot control, it's only what God gave you. You have to do with what God gave you. And so whatever that is, you put your mind to it, you put your heart in it, something good will happen from it, whether it's you getting to play pro or whether you learned a lesson from it and you can take that somewhere else and be a pro in another area. So, that's really my thing. And I think you guys are inspiring me right now, seeing you guys. So I appreciate you guys. And I'm wishing the best, and I hope to see you guys very soon.
All right. Thank you, Coach. One more question, perhaps, if there's anyone. Okay, carry on. Mungkin pakai mic atau gimana? All right, cool. Yes, so our friend from Indonesian Deaf Basketball is going to ask question, and the interpreter is going to translate it for us.
All right.
Halo, aku mau kenalan, nama saya.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Aga.
Aku mau tanya kepada Coach
I would like to ask about to Coach Dev.
Bagaimana cara supaya aku dapat membangun mental tim saya dengan baik?
How to create my team to be a good team, especially for mental. Because sometimes we are deaf and we feel like a lack of confidence because our deafness. So how to create for the mental our team and for my capability, our capability to be better as a deaf athlete and also me as a captain. Thank you.
That's amazing.
Oh, good.
Thank you. Tepuk tangan semuanya. Thank you so much. That's a great question, Coach.
Awesome. What a question.
Yeah.
And his name was what?
What's your name again?
Aga.
Aga. Nice. Great question, Aga.
Oh, hang on.
Okay.
Pertanyaan dengan Keira.
Oh, for Keira. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
For Keira.
Bagaimana cara tim
Tips?
I'd like those
Free
as
throw.
tips and tricks
Free throw.
supaya bisa masuk terus.
for the shoot.
The ultimate free throw tips. Okay. Oh.
Karena waktu aku nonton FIFA Women
Uh-huh.
And I
dan
have watched.
5 pinus free throw-nya masuk terus.
Oh. Keira made all the free throws when he watched the game.
Oh, wow. All right.
All right, thank you,
He's
Aga.
doing his
Tepuk tangan
homework.
untuk Aga.
All right.
Thanks, Aga. Okay, Coach, carry on.
Okay. So once again, appreciate the question. I'll give you a story. I believe I gave your coach earlier about my experience against a deaf high school. In my sophomore year in high school, we were a very good team, and we were basically on our schedule. It said California School of the Deaf, and we were like, "What? What are we doing? Is this real?" And we did, and we went out there and we played. Oh, we're gonna win this game easy. We're gonna destroy this team. We don't think anything of them. High school kids. This is how we're talking. And we get to the game, and there's these kids. You're like, "Whoa, who is this team?" Right? And obviously, it's a little bit of a transitional period to understand, okay, it's a little bit different from a normal game. But this team was absolutely impressive. They were confident, they were strong, they were together, they were communicating to each other in their way. And although we won the game, we left the game extremely impressed and with tons of respect to those boys because of how hard they pushed us in that game. And it almost felt like we lost because of how kind of impressive they were. And so I tell you that story because I'm sure that they went through what you're asking me in their life, which is maybe some lack of confidence, camaraderie, connectivity. But somehow in that 2 hours of a game, they looked even more connected than us without obviously speaking many words, with just using their hands. And they were together, they were connected, and they were confident. And I'm saying that to you because it doesn't matter really what you have that God gave you, right? This is just what you have to deal with. And you cannot look at yourself as, oh, I'm different from somebody else. Well, if you are, use that into your advantage. Make that inspire and motivate you. Maybe you're unique. You're more unique than me. Maybe that's your plus. Maybe that's your bonus. So always try to find a positive when maybe some other people or even yourself thinks is a negative. Try to figure out the positivity within that. And you as a captain, you have to make sure that everyone around you feels that, right? They can't feel that you're doubting, you're head down, you have the poor energy, you're upset about something that happened on the court to you. You have to make sure that everybody knows that this is our leader. We're following him. We're watching him, how he moves, how he operates, how he communicates with us, and we're going to look up to you. So whenever you're in a leadership position, you have to understand that people are looking at you, and they're looking at you for examples. All right, how does he do this? What does it look like? What is this way? And they want to follow. All right, so always understand that you're being watched, and you have to have a certain level of rules and guidelines that you need to follow yourself, so that you make sure that you're guiding your team in the correct direction. But the way that it looks right now, you look like you are the leader, and I can tell.
Yeah, we can tell from here.
And it seems like you're doing a good job. So do not doubt yourself, and remain confident, and understand that although there might be a difference in you, it doesn't make you any less than anybody else. So thank you for the question.
Wow,
Yes.
thanks Coach Dave.
Yes.
Tepuk tangan sekali lagi untuk Coach. Untuk menjawab pertanyaan kedua, we're going to move on to coaching clinics, guys. So you guys are in luck because you're going to watch Keira and Coach Dave demonstrate it straight out to you. Perhaps Keira can start with the freestyle tip, and then we move on with your program, guys. Okay, tepuk tangan sekali lagi untuk Coach Dave and Keira. We're going to step in a little bit closer to you guys. Yes, we're going to be there, I think.
Okay, we get the ball.
Yes, we need the ball, and coach from Indonesian Deaf Basketball will perhaps interpret, or okay, carry on.
Okay.
All right, cool. So Keira with the tips perhaps to start on the free throw tips.
Ya, tadi ada yang nanya free throw ya?
Yeah.
Yes.
Free throw, kenapa bisa? Aduh, gimana ya?
Gimana ya?
Jadi pas masih di akademi aku tuh diajarin cara shooting aman yang bener ya. Jadi yang pertama posisi first position, right? You have the first position, the second, and then the third. So that's basically the basic of it. So,
Basicnya seperti itu. Lihat posisi berdirinya Keira sama tangannya kamu harus lihat. Oke.
So, bukan masalah dari. Oh ya. Maaf.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so everyone can see online.
Jadi bukan masalah apa, tapi kalau kalian udah free throw nih, kan free throw tuh free itu gratis.
Okay.
So you guys really have to take that opportunity to make the ball go in. Di kalau misalnya soal masalah masuk atau enggak, mulainya dari basic dulu positionnya. Jadi yang pertama, jadi ada 3. Yang pertama itu 1, saya lihat ini dari samping. 1, 2 diangkat bolanya, 3 rilis. Jadi nggak diturunin lagi habis dari 2 nih. Jangan diturunin lagi, udah berubah. Dari 2 naik langsung. Jadi mungkin emang awal-awal tuh berat. But if you guys master this 3 basic position,
Yeah.
it could help you for free throws.
It's supposed to be one big flow of motion, yeah.
Yes.
So it's not like
Harus satu motion.
separated. Yeah.
Nggak usah separate. Tapi kalau emang separated, make sure when you're in the second position, jangan dipisahin lagi.
Yes.
Go second position and then
Yeah.
go up.
Do you agree, Coach?
I agree. Great job.
Yeah, Keira. Does that
You
help,
can try it
Aga?
out.
Does that
boleh
help,
dicoba,
Aga? Do you
boleh
want to
dicoba.
try?
Boleh.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Let
should
Let
try.
you try. All right.
One flow motion. There you
Not
go.
bad.
Not
Pretty
bad.
good
Yeah,
finish, too.
yeah,
Good
Aga.
All
He's a
right.
shooter. Okay.
I can see that.
Yeah. Mm-mm. Yeah.
Khasnya.
Yeah.
Oh, itu khas atau basicnya?
Basicnya sih
Oh,
lebih
basic.
tepatnya.
Oh.
Jadi
Basic.
kalau
Itu
udah
basicnya.
enak itu
Yes.
pasti nanti tinggal nyari sendiri aja. Nah.
Kamu harus cari sendiri ciri khasmu, tapi
Oh,
itu
shit.
basicnya.
Mm-mm.
Ya, ya, oke.
But that's pretty much fundamental, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right.
And the last thing for all of you, and she did this pretty perfect, okay? So all credit to her.
Thank you.
But I would say that one thing that people make a mistake of, especially in pressure situations or even people that are not as good free throw shooters, is they take their eyes down a lot. And then they remove their eyes from the basket and they bring them up and they bring them down, they bring them up. Try to remain and keep your eyes on the basket as much as you can, because normally you don't need to see the ball when you're touching it. You just need to hold it. But you keeping your eyes and your depth perception on the basket so that then you can just continue to see it all the way through.
Yeah.
So that's just a small thing about
details, yeah.
free throws. Yes.
All right,
Yes.
thank you so much, Aga. Thank you, teman-teman. All right, we get on to the coaching clinic. Coach, you may start.
The
Yes.
real
There you
coach.
go. Aga, you can perhaps take a seat again. Yeah.
Okay.
You want me to take it?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
So the first thing I think me and Keira talked about was handling the basketball. I think, and then we'll go through actual basketball move. The second lesson. So the first thing which she made a great point about was handling the basketball with a defender on you. So Keira can stand and let's say she guards me. Obviously, the first thing you'll do when you're dribbling the ball is you're going to dribble like this, right? But now you have a defender in between you, okay? So what we cannot do if she steps over here is we cannot dribble like this. The reason is she can do that, right? So we have to create a gap between ourselves, the ball, and the defender, right? And what does that mean? That means we have to adjust our body a bit, okay, to create this space. Now, she can't get the ball anymore because I'm in between the ball, okay? With that being said, a lot of the times young players, not just in Indonesia, they start to turn their back completely, okay? The basket is this way, right? We still want to keep our eyes and being able to see the court and the floor. So when I say put my body in between her at the ball, it doesn't mean turn my back. Okay, a lot of kids do this and they dribble the ball up the court. Okay, this is not teaching good technique or lessons. So you want to be able to keep your eyes and your head towards your teammates as well as the basket while handling the basketball. Okay? All right? The other thing, what you guys have to understand is what she spoke about was using your arm, right? If somebody is reaching in, a lot of the times you're taught to do things like this, right? To push the arm off. The problem with that is, as you go older, this could be called a foul the other way, okay? So a lot of the young players, they get taught to use their arm, okay? We don't want to use our arms, okay? So this is something at a young age, if you can learn this, and I learned this, is you want to use your shoulder, all right? You want to use the upper part of your arm, not your forearm. So if she started to reach at me, I'm just going to use this. And I'm going to lean my body with having my arms still down, okay, and create separation through her like this. And that can allow me to back away, all right? That can allow me, if she comes back towards me, to bump her again and back away, all right, without showing the referee doing this or slapping and doing things like this, okay? That is an old technique, and that is a technique that you do not want to use.
You
Okay,
can so relate.
and yeah. So again, sometimes you can get away with it, but it's not a good something to learn from. So you want to be able to use something that doesn't look as obvious as a foul. Okay, offensive fouls particularly. Okay, so hopefully you guys can take that with you and you can learn something from that, creating separation through ball pressure. In Indonesia, there's a lot of good people that play good defense and hard defense, and this is an ability to create some separation. The final point to that is when you do receive some sort of contact is to be able to use your inside foot, which is the closest to the defender, and be able to create space backwards to create that separation. A lot of the times people dribble and they dribble like this for 20 meters, just like this. All right? You want to change speeds in basketball. I might go fast to her, and then I might go boom. And then now look at the gap. Now I can go, she comes back, boom, I can go this way, right? I can change my speeds, all right, by creating a space using my feet. You guys got that? Sounds good? Kira,
Alright, tepuk tangan dulu.
Okay.
Good.
Maybe we take one or two participants to
Sure.
demonstrate.
Please,
Who wants
please.
to participate with Coach Dave to perhaps demonstrate what we just learned tadi? Ayo, tadi kamu yang udah maju, yang cewek juga. Ayo, kamu tadi
Come on
kan
down,
maju.
come
Ya,
on
go
down.
go on. Mumpung ada Coach Dave di sini, jadi nanti bisa
Yes.
langsung dikoreksi. Yes,
All
here with Coach
right.
Dave. And then one more. Yeah,
Dinda.
tepuk tangan. Woo.
Dinda and your name?
Aulia.
Okay, Aulia and Dinda. Okay.
All right, cool.
All right.
Can you scooch in a little bit?
Somebody
want
wanna-
to? Okay.
So we can have one of you take the ball and one of you on defense. Now, we don't have to go too crazy, too live, okay? But, okay, let's get in a little bit of a dribbling stance here. All right, good, perfect. All right, so as she comes a little bit closer, hold on, slow down for a second, 1 second. That's okay. And just create your turn, just there you go. All right, now you have the ball in your right hand, okay, and you have this arm. And now you want to use this arm, all right, and then this part of your arm. So as she steps forward a bit, you want to step into her with that shoulder and that foot. All right, Alia? And then, Alia, let me show you one thing here. As she steps in, you'll step back for 1 second. As she steps in, Alia, you'll dribble like this, and you'll be able to step back away from her. And instead of stepping outside of her, Alia, you want to step inside of her body here. So, boom, and then I can create that space back, if you see what I mean. So as she opens her legs here, open. There you go. All right, you're going to go into her, boom, and then step back. Boom, there you go. Just like that. And then you can go left, right. You can go any way after that, okay? Yes? Good. That's essentially what you guys would want to do. We even practice this, to be honest. We practice this like every week. Things like this, moves like this, because we even have problems with ball pressure and bringing the ball up the court. So it's not just at the youth level, it's all the way at the professional level. Yes. Okay?
Alright. Ada lagi pertanyaan mungkin mumpung lagi di sini? Iya silakan. Pakai mic. Pertanyaan tentang ini mungkin ya, tentang teknik mumpung lagi ada Coach dan Keira di sini. Oh, okay, cool. Any questions about the techniques of basketball? Yeah, there. Sebentar ya. So since we're doing coaching clinics, so anything about the techniques of basketball will be
sure.
better.
Yes. Hi, my name is Akang from Prawira family Jakarta.
Oh, okay.
Yes. The question is out of topics of the coaching clinic. Is it okay if I ask the IBL?
Yeah, no worries, I guess.
Okay.
You hold the mic now.
Yeah. This season for Coach Dave. This season, it's so competitive.
Yes.
Yes, Hang Tua, Ran Simba, and others team. It's so level up.
Yes.
So the question is, what's your target in this season?
Come on.
The first one.
Coach, I'm so sorry. We don't brief this, so I don't know it's coming.
The first one.
Okay.
Yes. The second one. Are you interested with on becoming a coach of national team?
He saw it coming. He saw that question coming. So.
I
think that's it for
yes.
time limit. Yeah, thank you. Okay,
Yes.
okay. Carry on, Coach.
And I appreciate that because you're part of the family. So
Yeah.
thank you for coming out.
Thank you for show up. Shout out, Prawira fam.
Yes, big shout out. So the first one, obviously the league is getting better. Teams are getting more competitive and want to win, which is a great thing for Indonesia and basketball. Our target is always going to be in the top 4. I think that's the standard we've set since I've got to Indonesia, and we've been in the top 4 every single year. So that's always going to be what it will be. And so that's the answer to your first question. The second question, of course, I would love to be and represent Indonesia as the coach. So yes.
Oh, you got it on record. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I mean, the spirit is there, yeah? They want the
Yes.
best for you and for
Yes.
Indonesian team, and
Appreciate
you're
it.
one of the best. All right, just one more question from the participants, because I heard that they want some questions about technique. Yeah, go on before we close the session.
Halo, nama saya Cipta. Saya
Cipta.
Oke.
My name is Cipta.
Ya, saya mau tanya tentang teknik layup. Karena saya
I'd like to
sebagai
ask
posisi
about the
3.
technique of layup.
Karena saya sebagai posisi 3.
Okay.
Posisi 3.
Yeah,
Ya.
he's playing three. Playing
Okay.
three, and he
Yeah.
asked about the layup technique.
Ya, bagaimana cara open ke pemain lawan untuk terlalu berbenturan? Ya, teknik macam seperti apa?
What's the offense technique if I always meet the opponents on the low post? Because I'm playing three, and you would like to know the layup technique,
Yeah.
right? Specifically. What's the most effective layup moves that you can do as a
From the post.
from the post, yes, as a small forward, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Then that's about it. Yeah. Thank you, Cipta. Keira, Keira, maybe you start.
Body contact kan tadi?
Iya.
Benturan ya.
Berbenturan,
That's what
betul.
okay.
Iya,
Okay.
iya, berbenturan.
Okay.
Karena selalu berbenturan, so he always got bumped. So
Yeah.
what's the most effective layup technique? I
Karena
guess?
saya sering main body contact,
There
jadi
you go. Yeah.
saya minta tekniknya seperti apa gitu kalau teknik macam.
Yang udah
Ya.
pasti jangan
Good.
takut ya. Jangan takut benturan. Kalau buat intinya itu, kalau lagi di udara apalagi ya, itu paling penting dari your core, your legs juga. Nanti tangan bisa sebenarnya nyusul dari bawah ke atas. So itu kayak yang penting kamu kuat dulu untuk benturan itu. Jadi, nah kalau misalnya teknik, aku ada satu. Jadi when you're trying to do a layup, ini kan tangannya kadang-kadang nggak guna ya. Kalau layup kanan misalnya kayak gini, right?
Yeah.
Jadi when you're taking the step, when you're about to put it on it, you know you have this hand
Yeah.
to block out the enemy's hand. So when you're about taking layup, it's gonna be hard at first, but you're gonna figure it out when you play. When you see someone trying to block you, you can always block their hand and go for the layup. And that way, sometimes you can get an N1, which is pretty hype, right?
Yeah.
You really want that too.
So instead of being afraid of contact, you're embracing contact
Yes.
for potential 3-point play. Yeah.
Dan kalau sebelum mengeksekusi kita boleh tabrak kalau lawan, tapi nggak tanpa foul.
Oh, before execution, how do you do it without fouling?
Yeah.
Oops.
So she broke it down very well as far as from your legs up, and when you are getting close to the basket, one thing to do is most people think I have to go fast to score, and you don't, right? That's why we talk about, and I'm not sure if she mentioned this, but I'm sure she's done this before, is coming to a stop on 2 feet. All right. This helps when many players, even that we have in professional, become out of control. Okay? So, yes, she is correct. When you go up, obviously you'll be able to create contact, whether you can use one or two, okay? Whether you can use this arm while you're holding the ball strong. This is a way of maybe not showing the referee. This is a way of still getting what she's explaining with two hands and then moving the ball. This is very difficult, okay? This is not going to be something you want to do if this is your just starting, okay? But it is a technique in a way to, like she spoke about, embrace the contact. But I believe for people your age and people that are learning is to be on 2 feet and using footwork. Whenever you get close or near around the basket, you want to be able to use your feet, okay, to operate and use footwork with fakes so that you can get the defense to move around, and that allows you to finish. For example, a small guy like Yuda that we have, sometimes he goes too fast, and he misses or he loses, and I'll say, hey, slow down. And then he'll get into the lane, and he'll do something like this to a tall player, and they'll jump, and he'll just go, whoop, and then he'll just lay it up right around them, okay? So having different options to finish the ball, not just one, and having different speeds, whether it's I'm going fast off of 1 foot or I'm going slower off of 2 feet, all right, that can always keep the defense kind of confused and on their toes. So that's a part of what she was talking about, but just to have different options, because I think some players and young players here, they go too fast, and then they get wild and the ball misses and things like that. All right, being under control and finishing, we call it controlled finishing.
Control finishing
is very important in basketball. Yes.
Also resonates with what Keira said about core strength.
Absolutely.
So it definitely
right on
correlates
point.
between the two.
Right
Tepuk
on
tangan
point.
dong untuk
Thank you.
Coach Dave and Keira. And guys, that concludes our session for the Q&A and then the coaching clinic and definitely the talk show. Semoga bermanfaat untuk teman-teman yang menyaksikan. Let's switch in a little bit, guys, to closing to the master camera. Thank you so much everyone for watching. Teman-teman dari Indonesian Deaf Basketball, tepuk tangan semuanya untuk kalian. The energy is right here, and so thank you guys for representing anyone who cannot attend the event. Teman-teman yang sudah menyaksikan online, terima kasih. Tentunya akan banyak lagi event-event seperti ini, tapi Muthia nggak akan take over kerjaannya Aldi sebagai MC. So thank you so much at America for providing us the opportunity to learn more about basketball. Thank you Coach Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you Keira. Muthia kembalikan ke Aldi. Tepuk tangan semuanya.
Yes, and thank you to Muthia, our moderator, to Coach David, and Keira as our speakers for today. Boleh tepuk tangan sekali lagi yang paling meriah untuk kita semua. Yes, and also thank you, of course, to our amazing partners, DBL Indonesia and Sobat America. Earlier in this event, we asked you a question of the day. And the question was, is it true or false that basketball was invented by a physical education teacher? And Sobat America, the correct answer to that is true. Because in 1891, Dr. James Naismith, a teacher in Springfield, Massachusetts, created the game of basketball to keep his students active in the winter. Congratulations to @FrisGMH from Instagram for getting the answer correctly. And for more information about America, please do follow our social media accounts on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at @ATAmerica. Sobat America, together let's make bigger and better things for Indonesian basketball. My name is Aldi, and see you at the next America event. Bye, everyone.